Okay, so we are going to be looking at how to solve speed problems. And so on this assignment, it says, please work these problems out on a separate piece of paper. So I want you to show your work on a separate piece of paper, just handwritten. Then you're going to type your answer, your final answer with correct units into the Google Doc. And then you're going to also upload a picture of the paper that you put your work on. So this is a little bit different, but I want to see how you work the problems out so I can see if there's any mistakes, how we can fix those. So show your work on a piece of paper, upload a picture of that paper, but also you're going to submit your correct answers in this form or in this Google Doc. Okay, so with the speed formula, speed equals distance divided by time, we can use what is called a formula triangle. And we're going to use a formula triangle with several other formulas in this class. And so we've got, I'm looking around the room, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 6 other formulas that work with a formula triangle. All this tool is it shows you, or it gives you an easy way to solve equations with multiple variables without manipulating the variables. Basically what that means is you don't have to use algebra to solve these problems. So how this works is when you're looking at this triangle, you have distance on the top, speed and time across the bottom. If whatever my problem is asking me to solve for, I would cover that up, if you were to cover that up with your finger or whatever while you're working on this, then your formula is going to be what you're left with. So if I am solving for speed, I would cover up the S in the speed with my finger or however, just in your mind. If you cover up S, what are you left with? So speed equals distance over time. And so if it's on top, then that means you divide. If I was solving for time and I cover up the T for time, then time equals the other two things. So time equals distance divided by speed. And then last, if I was solving for distance, then I would cover that up and I'm left with speed and time. And because they are beside of each other, we multiply. And so for distance, you would do speed times time. I'm going to show you an example of each type of problem, and hopefully you'll have a better understanding of how to work this out. So number 1 says a man walks 20 kilometers in 4 hours. Find his speed. So we are solving for speed. So on my triangle, and I'm going to write one up on the board just to show you how to cover the things up. You got distance, speed, and time. So if I am solving for speed, I would cover up the S with my hand, and then I would do distance divided by time because that's what I'm left with. So I have, in my first example, it says a man walks 20 kilometers in 4 hours. So if I cover up speed, I'm doing distance divided by time. Now all I have to figure out is what are the two numbers that I divide. So 20 divided by 4. Well, that is a super simple division problem. 20 divided by 4 equals 5. Now what would be my unit? I'm going to take whatever my distance was and per whatever my time was. So this one would be kilometers per hour. Okay, next example. If a person drives his car at a speed of 50 miles per hour, how far can he go in 2.5 hours? So we're solving for how far, which would be distance. So if I cover up the distance, I'm left with speed times time. Again, if I cover up distance, I'm left with speed times time. So that's the formula I use. And so I'm going to be doing speed was 50 miles per hour times 2.5 hours. 50 times 2.5 is 125. And now what unit would I do? So my hours cancel out, and I'm left with whatever my distance unit was in the speed. So it will be miles. I think that math's right. Let me check before. So 50 times 2.5. 125. Yes, my math is successful. All right, last example, and this one says if a person travels at a speed of 40 miles per hour at the same rate, how long will he take to cover 160 miles distance? So we're looking for how long something would take. So we're looking at time. If I cover up the t, I am left with d over s, or distance divided by speed. And so my distance was 160 miles. So I'm going to do 160 divided by the speed was 40 miles per hour. 160 divided by 40. And that equals 40. And what would be my time, what my unit would be the time part of the speed. And so it was miles per hour. And this is going to be 40 hours. Okay. So that is one example of each type of problem that you'll see. If you are still struggling with this, go back and watch this video one more time. And then if you're still struggling with this, you don't understand what's going on in my examples and what I'm talking about, then please shoot me an email and we'll schedule a Google Meet, or I can send you some more links to some more example videos or something and get you lined out.